This video will go over documents and guidelines for conducting an initial approval survey. The first document includes the guidelines for the initial approval survey, outlining the education rules that are applicable to this initial survey, reflection back on the prerequisite approval that was obtained prior to this approval. You're now in the initial approval phase. After receiving initial approval, the next step is full approval. This is all educational rules that will be assessed during your survey. Then is included the survey process regarding responsibilities from the board and responsibilities from the nursing program. I've included the policy regarding how often surveys are conducted and the procedure that is used with our surveys. The next form is the pre-survey data form. This is not part of the official report. I do ask that you complete this PDF fillable form and send it to me either prior to the site visit or with your report documentation. This allows me to get a quick snapshot of your program, and also on the last page helps me to identify concerns that you have, ideas of the way the State Board of Nursing can assist you better, and if there is something specific that you want me to see, address, or ask about if you have a site visit attached to your paper survey. Which you will, because this is an initial visit. So the if applicable is not applicable to you. All initial visits do have a site visit with it. Initial surveys do have a site visit with it. The next document is going to be one of these two, either the Practical Nurse Curriculum Survey Table or the RN Curriculum Survey Table. So let's look at the Practical Nursing one. If you are a registered nursing program, it will be very, very similar. It will just, where it says Practical Nurse, it will say Registered Nurse, and I will insinuate that the registered nurse programs have more criteria that is expected to be included in the curriculum, and those are listed on the table, but both tables look exactly, are set up exactly the same. So you're going to tell me where this criteria is included in your curriculum. And this is taken from this education standard that says the curriculum plan for the program shall include. So you may come over here and tell me what course this is taught in, and then include the student learning objective that is related to this criteria. The next part is going to require that you provide evidence regarding where the content related to theory is taught. These could be standalone courses, or they could be taught within your nursing curriculum. If they are a standalone individual course that is included in your degree plan, you can certainly provide me with a hyperlink or a copy of the degree plan that shows, for example, your students take anatomy and physiology course or a nutrition course. However, if your students don't take a standalone nutrition course and that is taught within your nursing curriculum, you would then come down here and you would type in nutrition as the theory content, include the course that it is taught in. Let's say this is, it's taught in your Adult Health 1 course. And then give me an SLO, a student learning objective. You don't have to list 12. Just give me enough evidence that proves that you are teaching nutrition in this course. That's just an example of what to include. But you would not have to come down here and say anatomy and physiology and list that course and list that learning objective, because I can see from the degree plan it is evident that students are required to take that course. Clinical experiences as well tell me what course they go to clinical that addresses fundamentals of nursing of adults, all the way through. I'd also like to know where they are going for their clinical experiences. So, for example, on maternal infant nursing, let's say you have a women's health course that is NURS 2343. And students go to UAMS, L&D. They go to Arkansas Children's Hospital, NICU, because this is maternal and infant. And they go to Dr. Lady, which is an OBGYN clinic. And they do a simulation. So that would be an example of what I'm looking for this table completion. For the RN, it is very similar. The theory content is a little bit more extensive, you can see here. But it follows the same principle if your students are taking a standalone chemistry course. This is any RN program, whether associate or baccalaureate. If your students take a standalone chemistry course, you do not have to include that. If chemistry is taught within the curriculum, you're going to tell me what, you would put chemistry right here, what course, maybe it is in your pharmacology course, and give me a student learning objective that is related to chemistry. So you would not put, this is what would not be correct. Chemistry, you might say pharmacology, NURS 2413. This would be incorrect. Student will learn how to safely administer PO meds. That learning objective is not related to chemistry. You need a learning objective related to chemistry. Students will verbalize medication metabolism. And discretion within the body. Maybe you talk about half-life. So be sure, again, that your learning objectives relate back to your theory content. If you have a gerontology course, you do not need to include that here. Okay, so this table is only for courses that are not a standalone course. The last table for your curriculum map, again, is going to be related to your clinical experiences. Note that baccalaureate and master degree programs do have to have community health. If your program, RN program, is not master or baccalaureate, you can put NA in these two columns. The next table is a faculty summary. Please don't change any of the format. You need to include all nurses, even administrators who may teach in the program. Include them on this table. Don't change any of the table heading. Just fill in the blanks in each column. If you need to insert a role, you can certainly do that. You can change that if you, or you can just put a space in between each faculty member listed. If you need to add another page, that is fine as well. All right, the survey tool that I use, I will also send that to you so that you can see exactly what I am looking for. This is the tool I will use when I come for the site visit for your initial survey. Notice the criteria here is straight from the educational rules, and I've listed those there for you. I'm looking whether the criteria was met, partially met, or not met. And the last form to show you is your report template. You are going to use this template to write the report for submission. Start right at the very top, click on this area and type in your school name. That will give a header at the top of each page. Don't change the formatting. Notice that the font is Aptos. Don't change that. The font size should either be 11 or 12. You can change that, but don't go to 13, don't go down to 10. Some of the tables have formatting of 10 within the tables. Leave those alone. As a standard rule, if it's bold typed, you cannot delete it. You can change, so you would type in your school name here, your program name. So maybe this is Arkansas Nursing University Practical Nursing Program. You leave Arkansas State Board of Nursing Initial Approval Survey Report and type in your name, the program director, and title. And then the date you submitted it to me via email. You will create your table of contents once you have completed your entire report. Then we start into the bulk of the report. Notice that anywhere, again, you see bold text, I've said here, do not remove any text that is bold. Do not change the format. Do not change the order of this report. This report follows that audit tool that I showed you, and it makes it very easy for me to follow your report compared to the audit tool that I'm using to make sure that you have met all of the standards. Any text that is in this template that is not in bold, you can delete. So you'll notice in this first section, you are to include a brief historical overview of the established school or program. So you're going to start typing right here. Once you are finished telling me about your brief historical overview. You're going to delete all of this. So the only thing that should be in this section is what you typed. Follow that format moving all the way down. So you're going to include your information here and then delete the instructions that I have given you. Notice in this section, all of this is bolded. So you do not need to delete any of that. Don't change any of the line formatting. Certain areas are single space, certain areas are double spaced. Leave them that way, please. As you are typing, I do expect headers and subheadings to move down the pages. That is certainly fine. But again, don't change any of the formatting. I've noted this in yellow highlight. You'll notice that in this section, it is the same content that was included in your prerequisite approval proposal. I'm giving you permission to copy and paste from that report into this report as long as all the information has not changed since the board approved your prerequisite proposal. If the information has changed, first off, you have notified the board of that, but you need to specifically mention this is a change from the board approved. And then once you have finished all this, you will delete this yellow highlighted area. If anything is not applicable to you, I've given you permission to simply type NA. Here's the stressor though. Do not delete it. If it's not applicable to you, type NA. Leave this bold heading, because remember, this bold heading is going to show up on my audit tool. So if you've got NA, I know to mark NA and move on down to the next section on my audit tool. Another area that's yellow, again, I'm telling you, this is the same content that was included in your prerequisite approval. Copy and pasting is fine. Do not worry about plagiarism. It is fine. I've asked in several sections that you upload evidence as an appendix. I would like you to look at this approval report as you are writing and proving what you are saying. I should have an idea of where your program stands when I come to do a site visit, so that when I come for that site visit, I'm just verifying any questions that I have. I may ask you, hey, I'd like to see that handbook. I'd like to see that degree plan, just for verification. So the bulk of my review comes before the site visit. So any evidence that you can upload to support what you are saying. If you begin typing here to address the need and readiness of the community to support the program, and you don't provide evidence, then I will probably email you and say, go ahead and send that to me via email, or have that ready for me to review when I come do a site visit. So the rest of this follows in line with that. This section reflects back to the curriculum map tables that I showed you. I have it highlighted here in green because I don't know what appendix number your curriculum table map will be, so you will just adjust this area to fall in line, whether it's appendix Q or whatever it may be. And again, here I've said if your program is for RN, type NA, because here we are talking about a practical nursing program. Do not delete the section, just delete the highlight. You're going to type NA. If you are a PN program, you're going to say see curriculum table, appendix, whatever. If you have references to include, this is where you're going to place them. You do not have to include references, but if you choose to, please use APA formatting. If you're not using references, completely delete this page. Then we get into a few pages where you are going to insert a hyperlink. If your institution does not have a catalog, you can link the website that houses information about the institution. Just be sure you direct me on where to look. This is not considered an appendix. It is part of the report. Same way with the handbook, student and faculty. This is where your appendix begin. For every appendix, you will have a title page that simply says Appendix A and then the name of your appendix. It might be your program organizational table. Appendix, and then on the next page, you're going to insert your organizational table. Then you're going to say it again, Appendix B. This might be your program budget. And then you're going to insert the budget for me to look at. Be sure that you come back up here and delete this yellow highlight prior to submission. And that is your report template for your initial program survey.